The one who left. The one they left you for. The so-called friends you caught gossiping about you. The family member that insulted you. We're all bitter over someone.
So Lorde came out with a new album last week called Melodrama, and I really love it. It's really raw, and it's an artistic snapshot of life in her 20s. She sings about everything from heartache to using a night on the town as escapism. And after listening to the album, it really got me thinking that all the painful things we go through can make us really bitter. So it inspired me to create a recipe using a bitter green, arugula, to make something delicious, and also to learn some lessons about how to get over the bitterness and resentment that we often carry with ourselves. So today we're going to be making arugula almond pesto hummus. As we're addressing bitterness, we're going to take a leaf out of Lorde's book. In this case, the leaf is arugula. Arugula is a leafy green that's peppery but also a little bit bitter, so we're going to figure out what to do with it. We're going to process this with a couple of other ingredients to make a really delicious arugula almond pesto hummus. And we're also going to learn some lessons about how to process our feelings of resentment and bitterness. What's cool about this recipe is you're actually getting two recipes in one. First, we're going to make a pesto, and then we're going to mix that into a hummus. The first thing that I do when I make pesto is break down the hardest ingredients first. In this case, it's the almonds. Just like when you're addressing bitterness, we have to address the hardest part first, which is forgiving the person that you're bitter at. What I'm going to do is put my almonds into the food processor to break them down a little bit, and then we're going to toast them. To toast your chopped almonds, all you need to do is heat it up in a pan on medium-high heat. So we're gonna let that go for about 5 to 7 minutes, making sure that you stir it occasionally. Now in regards to forgiveness, there's this quote that was popularized by Nelson Mandela that goes, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then waiting for your enemy to die." What we can learn from that quote is that holding on to the bitterness and resentment doesn't help you. In fact, it hurts you. So you need to learn how to let it go through forgiveness. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. The most direct way is through communication with that person that hurt you, because oftentimes they don't even know that they hurt you. So communication can start that healing process. But if it's not safe or appropriate to talk to that person, I recommend writing out a letter to them about how you feel, and then you don't have to send it. You could even burn it if you want. So as you can see, it's turned this nice roasty brown color. And the way that you could tell that it's done is that your nose is gonna tell you. And you wanna pay attention to that because you don't wanna let your almonds burn. You already got burned. The next thing that we're going to do is blend together our veggies. So I have 3 cloves of garlic here, as well as a cup of arugula. Also for this recipe, we're going to use 1/4 cup of olive oil. So we're gonna add half of that right now to the veggies. Now we're going to alternate adding the toasted almonds as well as some cheese. Here I have 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, which actually reminds me, my favorite song on the Lorde album is currently Liability. There's a line in that song that goes, "They say, you're a liability, you're a little much for me." And one time a guy actually said that to me, "You're a little bit too much, can you tone it down?" And that moment made me kind of bitter, and I'm thinking, okay, do I need to tone it down? But no, just like we need to forgive and let go of our bitterness, sometimes we also need to let go of people. So if someone tells you that you're too much, as long as you're not hurting them or wronging them, then maybe that person's just not for you. Similar to this recipe, if you're vegan and cheese isn't for you, or if cheese just makes your stomach hurt, you could leave it out, you could let it go. Well, thankfully cheese is for me, so we're gonna add this in right now. Now that we've added the almonds and the cheese to our pesto, we're going to add the remaining olive oil. If you want, you could actually stop right there and just use the pesto to put on pasta or on meat, whatever you like, but I like to make it into a hummus. All you need to do is add some garbanzo beans to your pesto. Our hummus is basically complete, we just need to add a couple of final ingredients. So we're going to add some salt, and some pepper. And the final ingredient is lemon, which is going to brighten up the flavor and balance out all that bitterness. In applying this to your bitter situation, it's important to look on the bright side of things. While unfortunately, people who made you bitter, whether that's an ex or someone who wronged you, they're always going to be a part of you because they help shape your life in some way or form. So you have to find the positive takeaways from that. Like for me, I had a relationship that ended kind of sour, but this person was very goal-oriented and I was able to apply that to my own life, and I still am very goal-oriented today because of this person. Or if you're betrayed by a friend, from that you learn to be more discerning and careful about who you let in your life. Basically what I'm trying to say is try to find the bright side of your bitter situation. So we just used a bitter green to make arugula almond pesto hummus. Now you could serve this with crackers or pita chips. Personally, I like to eat it with radish. That is really good. The arugula blends really beautifully with all the other flavors of the cheese and the garlic, and the creaminess of the garbanzo beans makes for a really nice hummus. So I hope that you make this recipe at home. It's a great appetizer or snack that you could share with your friends and family. For the full recipe and ingredient list, you could visit my website at diningattiffany's.com. So please subscribe, and always know that I'm here for you and I got you. I put out new videos on cooking and personal development every Thursday. See you next time.